for a culinary treat today. 200 grams of grass-fed beef. We have some tomatoes. We have some rice, and we have an egg. About this session, if I'm being honest. It's hot, and first time doing thresholds since the marathon, really. I mean, last week was an introduction, but yeah. 2 kilometer warm up. We have then got 1 kilometer at threshold and be aiming for around about 4:20 with a 200 meter sort of jog in between. We've got 5 rounds of that and then a 2 kilometer cool down. It's going to be approximately 10k. I might cut the warm up a little bit short, depends how hot it is. How well, it doesn't depend how hot it is, it's fucking hot, that's all we need to know. Was honestly the hottest weather I've ever ran in. Went out a little bit quick again, need to always get that out of my system, and then I just slightly dialed it back down just so I could get through the 5, and actually felt pretty good. I'll put all the deets on the screen so you can see where I'm at. It's hard to sort of gauge compared to where I was last time. I'm going to go back and look at this session when I did it some sort of 10 weeks ago or whatever it might have been, but it's hard to compare because of the heat. And yeah, man, I don't know. The other thing that's worth considering when I do this again is this is about 2,100, 2,200 meters round. So when you're doing a kilometer with a 200 meter kind of walk off in between, you've got 2.4, so you're never back at the bike for your rest period, which meant that I had to do all 5 with no water. I had a gel with me, and I could have done with a bit of a cool down and a sip of the old clear nectar. Fuck, you live and learn. Nothing we ever experienced is the same. So when I went back and compared today's workout with the one I did the first time I did it some 10 weeks ago, it's like I can compare, but I'm not the same person that did that workout 10 weeks ago, right? So when I step into doing it the second time round, I have all of the information that I gained from that first time around, which gives me a different perspective, lets me know how hard it's going to feel. Now, obviously, there are some different parameters. Obviously, the heat here, you know, time of day, like all of these types of things can affect it. But all we can really do is compare ourselves to who we once were. So again, we all know, hopefully, it's absolutely pointless comparing ourselves to other people. They're at different places in their life, they're at different stages. The only real comparison that we can ever make is who were we yesterday, or who were we last week or last month. And as I sort of look back at the data of this workout that I kind of did today, the like 5 by 1 kilometer, is that what I saw from the comparison before is that the average split was 10 seconds per kilometer quicker, and the heart rate was the same. So again, factoring in the heat, which obviously raises the heart rate a little bit more. You know, I'm pretty happy coming off the back of that. I mean, it wasn't easy. I mean, I think with every workout you want to be stretched a little bit. But to come out of that, look at the data and compare myself to where I was and be like, okay, well, I'm running every kilometer at least 10 seconds quicker, if not 15. And heart rate is staying around the same. And that previous one was done in December, much cooler climate. So actually, it gives me confidence moving into next week, because I'm not sure that I necessarily felt that confident when I'd finished the session, because it was hard, it was hot, you know, it was a difficult session to do, and I wasn't sure where I kind of stacked up. So actually looking at the data from last time, it's given me that bit of confidence. And the reality is that's where the repeating cycle of training gives you that feedback. You know, when you can look back at a workout that you did a year ago and all of a sudden you're doing it quicker and it's costing you less with the heart rate being lower, that's a good sign that you're in a better fitness position than you were when I did that the first time around. And that can only give you confidence going into not only next week, but going into the next challenge. For me, that's the half marathon. Is that if I know where I was at when I did the marathon and my pacing strategy for there, and now I have evidence to suggest that I'm fitter and faster and stronger, then there's no reason why I can't set out with an intention to moving a bit quicker from the outset. And that's ultimately what training is, right? Training for me is a confidence builder. Every session is a stepping stone to the next session, and it's the continuation of those stepping stones that lead you to a fitter, faster, stronger, better version of yourself. And you don't want to have variation for the sake of variation. I could have done a very similar workout today that would have been different to the last one, but actually having that comparison is good, because either we find out that I'm not as fit as I once was, and in which case, you know, there's a reality check that comes with that, or we find out that actually I am a little bit fitter, and that then raises the bar and the expectations that kind of come alongside with it. But I think sometimes people hide behind variation because there's no comparison. I haven't done this before, so I don't know what my time is or whatever it is. And actually sometimes it's good to just be honest, to lay it on the line and say, right, this is where I'm at, where does it stack up? And yeah, that's littered throughout all my programs, is making sure that I'm touching base, I'm being honest in terms of my perception of myself and the reality, and that we align both of those things and set a plan to move forward and to get better is ultimately the goal, right? This is why we train. We want to be a better version of ourselves, and fitter, faster, stronger, smarter, however you want to wrap that up. That's where we're at, and that's what training gives us the opportunity to do. It gives us a real stark comparison to where I was yesterday, where I was last week, where I was last year. And the goal is doesn't matter the speed in which we're progressing, as long as we're progressing. And it's only when we take the foot off the gas and we coast that we can then get complacent and slip backwards. So yeah, today was a real good confidence booster. I'm sort of set the sort of line in the sand now moving forward with these threshold works. Like I say, these were a big pivotal part of my marathon prep, and I'm really looking forward to pushing these over the next 5-6 weeks going into that half marathon in Vietnam. So yeah, a win of a day, really. Ticked all the boxes, what I was sort of mentioning yesterday. Ate 3 meals a day, hydrated, everything's a win. So I'll leave it there, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.